Understanding Ikigai. Welcome to Giatti Glow and to week 1 of our 12-week Ikigai journey. I'm Barb Giatti, and I'm glad you're here. Every week we come together to grow and glow, learning to live more fully, more consciously, as we glow from the inside out. This is week 1 of 12 of the Giatti Glow Ikigai podcast series. If you're following along in my 12-week Ikigai book, that's fantastic. If you don't have the book, that's absolutely fine, but you will want something to write with and write on. If you'd like to get the book, just go to the About section of Giatti Glow where you found this podcast, and there will be a link to my 12 Ikigai coach sessions for coaches and individuals book on Amazon. Or you can just go to Amazon and search for Schnarr Coach. That's SCHNARR Coach. Schnarr is my maiden name, and that's what I used for these books. You can support this podcast by buying any of my books or donating on Buy Me a Coffee. The links are in the Giatti Glow description and at thelifecoach.store. Also, it sure would help me out if you could like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Thanks. If you're listening while folding laundry, driving, sipping coffee, or lying on the couch doing that thing where your brain is resting, but also reviewing every life decision since 1989, yeah, you're in the right place. Today isn't about fixing you. It's not about hustling harder. It's not about reinventing yourself by Tuesday afternoon. This week is about something deeper, remembering what matters. Because life has a way of turning into a swirling snow globe of responsibilities, bills, messages, deadlines, family needs, the shoulds, the some days, the constant pressure to keep moving, producing, proving, improving. And in the middle of all that, it's surprisingly easy to drift away from that inner question that keeps everything meaningful. Why am I doing all of this? Not the surface why, like because I have to, the real why, the soul level why, the why that makes you feel like your life actually fits you. And that's where Ikigai comes in. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that's often translated into reason for being, but actually it's one of those ideas that becomes smaller when you try to cram it into one sentence. Ikigai is not a slogan, it's not a trendy productivity tool, it's not a personality quiz result, it's a way of living. It's a way of orienting yourself towards meaning, purpose, and steadiness. It's the feeling that your life has a shape to it that makes sense, that you are not just surviving the calendar, but inhabiting your days with intention. The word itself comes from 2 Japanese roots, iki, meaning life, and gai, meaning worth or value. So together, the value of life, or what makes life worth living. In the traditional spirit of Ikigai, your purpose does not have to be some huge dramatic mission with a spotlight and a standing ovation. Ikigai can be humble and quiet and woven into ordinary days. You may have heard that the Okinawan region of Japan has been studied because of its high number of centenarians. That's people living to 100 and beyond. In many conversations about longevity and well-being, Ikigai is often mentioned as one contributing factor. For many Okinawans, Ikigai might be tending to a garden or cooking for a family, staying connected to community, sharing meals, being useful, being involved, having something to wake up to that feels meaningful. And that's such a relief, isn't it? Because many of us get stuck thinking purpose has to look like a grand reveal, like there's a single perfect answer you must discover. And if you don't, you're doing your life wrong. Ikigai says, no, your purpose can live in the everyday. It can be something you practice, not something you perform. Ikigai is often described as the intersection of 4 areas. This is the framework we'll be working with throughout these next 12 weeks because it's practical, clarifying, and honestly, it's a little bit like turning on a light in a room you've been stumbling around in. So here are the 4 pillars. Number 1, what you love. This is your passion. These are the things that make your energy rise, the moments when you feel like yourself, the things you're drawn to, even if nobody rewards you for them. And sometimes what you love is not a career category. Sometimes it's comforting or creative or nurturing or curiosity. Sometimes it's making order out of chaos. Sometimes it's listening deeply to people. Sometimes it's learning, building. Sometimes it's making life prettier or kinder or calmer. Number 2, these are your strengths, what you're good at. Some of them are obvious, and some of them are so natural that you don't even count them. You might dismiss them because you assume, well, everyone can do that. Well, no, not everyone can do that. This pillar includes skills you've developed and talents that kind of seem like they were just always there. It includes the kinds of problems that people bring to you in the areas where others say, how do you make that look so easy? The third pillar is what the world needs. This is your mission. It doesn't mean you need to carry the whole world on your shoulders. It means that there are certain needs, causes, and human experiences that tug on your heart more than others. What makes your heart break a little? What do you wish people understood? What do you want to contribute to, even in a small way? Sometimes the world is big, and sometimes the world is your neighborhood, your family, your clients, your community. Ikigai includes both. And the fourth pillar is what you can be paid for. This is your profession pillar. This is where sustainability comes in. Not everything meaningful must be monetized, but if your Ikigai is going to support your real life, it helps to explore practical pathways. This pillar asks, where do opportunity and value exchange exist for what you bring? And for some of you, that will be about career shifts. For others, it will be about refining what you already do. For others, it will be about separating purpose from paycheck while still making room for both. Now, when these 4 areas overlap, that's your sweet spot. A life where fulfillment meets contribution and practicality. That's the Ikigai center. It's not like we're hunting it with a net for like a rare butterfly. It's about cultivating it like a garden. Let's talk about modern life for a second because, wow, right? We are living in an age of constant input. Notifications, expectations, comparison, pressure to optimize, pressure to keep up. And a lot of people look fine on the outside, while inside they're feeling unclear, restless, emotionally tired. Ikigai matters because it offers a way back to alignment. When you start exploring your Ikigai, it brings clarity. You begin to prioritize what truly matters instead of what screams the loudest. It fosters resilience. Purpose becomes an anchor when life is messy or painful or uncertain. It promotes balance, not just work-life balance, but life-life balance, the kind where your values match your calendar. And it cultivates joy, not sparkly performative joy, but the deep kind, the steady kind, the this feels like me kind. And I want that for you. Not as an abstract idea, but as something you start feeling in your actual weeks and days. Before we do anything, let's begin with awareness, because Ikigai is not something you just slap on your life like a sticker. It grows best when you tell the truth about where you are. So I want to guide you through some reflection questions. If you're able, pause and write them down. But if you're walking or driving, just listen and answer in your mind, and then come back later and write them down. Take your time. Let your answers be messy. Let them be honest. Let them be imperfect, because that's how real clarity starts. Ready? Question 1. What activities bring you the most joy? I want you to think of moments where you feel lighter and more alive and more open. This doesn't have to be big, huge, dramatic moments. They can be small. Ask yourself, when do I feel like my inner world gets more spacious? When do I feel content without needing anything extra? What do I keep coming back to? Question 2. When do you feel the most in flow? Flow is that state where time gets weird. You look up and realize an hour passed and you were fully immersed. Ask yourself, what kind of tasks absorb me? When do I stop overthinking and start moving naturally? Where does my focus feel effortless? Question 3. What are your natural talents and skills? Let this list include both hard skills and soft skills. Organizing, teaching, writing, caring, designing, troubleshooting, meditating, encouraging, leading, learning quickly, noticing patterns, making people feel safe, building systems, seeking potential. Blah. Ask yourself, what do people rely on me for? What am I quietly good at? What do I do that feels like me even when I'm tired? Question 4. What issues or causes do you care deeply about? What makes you feel protective? What makes you want to help? What makes you want to speak up? Ask yourself, what do I wish I could improve in the world around me? What kind of suffering do I feel tender toward? What kind of change feels personal to me? Question 5. What does success mean to you? And this is a big one because so many people are chasing a definition of success that doesn't really belong to them. Ask yourself, if nobody could judge me, what would success look like? What would my life feel like if I was truly thriving? What do I want more of? Peace, freedom, creativity, stability, adventure, impact? And if you want a bonus layer, ask, what have I been told success is, and do I actually agree? These reflections become your starting map. They're not a final answer, they're a map. And maps are allowed to have blank spaces. They're allowed to say, here be dragons. That's fine. Keep going anyway. Let's do an example story about a woman named Maria. Maria is 35. She works as a marketing manager. She has financial security, and from the outside, things look stable. But inside, she feels trapped in a job that does not light her up. The kind of trapped that doesn't always look like misery, but it feels like a slow dimming. When Maria begins to explore Ikigai, she doesn't start by quitting everything and dramatically reinventing her life overnight. She starts by listening to herself. She realizes that she's always loved storytelling. She's drawn to meaning, to message, to communication that actually helps people. And she also notices that she's got a natural strength connecting with people and understanding what matters to them and translating ideas into words that land. Then she asks the world needs question. And she realizes that she cares about causes, that she wants her work to matter beyond selling and scaling. Over time, she transitions into content creation for nonprofits. It isn't instant, it's a series of choices, a series of brave little steps, a series of alignments. And now she describes her life as rich with purpose. I love that phrase, rich with purpose. Not perfect or necessarily easy, but rich, full, and worth it. Here's what I want you to hold close this week. Finding your Ikigai is not about radical shifts overnight. It's about small, intentional steps that gradually bring your life into alignment with your deeper values. It's about patience, compassion, and it's about being willing to understand yourself again. So for week 1, your assignment, not a checklist, it's a relationship, a reconnection. Here's your listener practice for this week. Over the next 7 days, start noticing the moments that feel like tiny clues. The moments that feel nourishing, the moments that feel draining, the moments where you think, yes, more of this, please, and the moments where you think, this is not me. You do not have to solve your life this week. You just have to start noticing it. And if you want a simple journal prompt to close today, here it is. If my life had a purpose to try to get my attention, what might it be whispering to me lately? Let that be your doorway. Next week, we'll go deeper. We'll start exploring your values and how they shape the kind of purpose that actually fits you, not the kind you think you're supposed to have. So for now, breathe. You're beginning. I'll see you next week. Giatti Glow is powered by the Life Coach Store, which is owned by me, Barb Giatti. On my website, you can find all kinds of great resources for over 20 types of wellness coaches. Check out thelifecoach.store for more information.